guys. Today I'm going to be trying to make a July TBR. And why I say trying is I am a huge mood reader. So in order to make a TBR, it's kind of really difficult for me. So I'm going to show you some books that I am interested in reading over the next month or so. And hopefully you guys will then see them in a wrap up. If I continue doing videos, which I hope I do, the wrap-ups I think are going to be every few months because I don't read enough books to do a wrap-up every single month, but I hope to do a wrap-up for every few months. Sorry if this shirt is like really long cut. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the books. So I think one of the first books I definitely want to read upcoming is the next book in the Sailor Moon manga that I have coming up. This one, I believe, revolves more around the girls meeting Sailor Uranus and Neptune. They kind of were introduced in the last book, but I think this one they're following more closely and getting to know about them more. Not 100% sure, but I'm really excited to get started with this one. Next one I talked a little bit about in my mid-year freakout tag, and that is from the Dreamland Billionaire series, The Fine Print. This is the first book of the series. I'm very excited to get started on this. This is about Rowan and Sahara, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And Rowan is like the CEO of what would be known as Disneyland or Disney World. He's in the business of creating fairy tales, theme parks, production companies, five-star hotels, and everything could be mine if I just renovated Dreamland. So the series is following brothers who all have to do certain things in order to inherit the Dreamland franchise. So it's kind of interesting. And of course, there is a love story with one of his employees, I believe. Yeah, after submitting a drunk proposal criticizing Dreamland's most expensive ride, I should have been fired. It follows these two as they kind of go about acquiring the Dreamland franchise, but also their love story as well. I have heard such good things about this, and I'm very excited to read it. Next one I'm going to talk about is actually a book I have on Libby, and that is Radiant Sin. I'm hoping to finish that. I'm about 50% through. I took a little break on reading it. I think I mentioned in my mid-year freakout tag, I was kind of having some mental health issues and was just hoping to kind of get back into Katie Robert because she's one of my favorite authors. And so I was so happy when I started rereading it a few days ago and was like, oh, this is why I love her so much. So I'm definitely excited to get back into that and to enjoy that book. So I have that one on Libby. I have a few other on Libby. I need to read Spare by Prince Harry. Maybe I might get to that this month as well, or in the next few months. I definitely need to look into getting that finished. Next, for physical books, is one we're not going to be too surprised about if you watch anything on my channel, and that is the second book in the Salacious Player series, Eyes on Me. This came out, I believe, last week or the week before in stores, and I went immediately and got it. I was so excited because I believe this wasn't supposed to drop until August or September, and they pushed up the release date, if I remember correctly. The sucky thing is, as of now, the next one isn't due to come out until November, so hopefully they push that release date up as well. This is about Garrett Porter, who is one of the owners of the Salacious Player Club. It's kind of just his story on what he is doing in the club and also kind of how his private life goes. So there's not too much I can probably share on here on YouTube, but I would, as I've said before, I would definitely check out the Salacious Players Club series. I would definitely recommend it. It's a good time. And it's really funny as well as captivating and just super interesting. So if you haven't read it, I would recommend it. So Libby has this thing where you can like skip the line, and I have the Bell Jar, the Cartographers, and Where the Crawdads Sing all on that skip the line possibility. I've had them for a long time. I'm definitely thinking the one I would want to read out of those three would be the Bell Jar. I haven't read a classic in a little bit. I think since the beginning of the year when I read Ethan Frome, and so I'm definitely due to read one. I like reading a classic every few months, and I've heard amazing things about the Bell Jar, so I'm definitely looking forward to possibly reading that as well. Everything else I have in is either stuff I'm in the middle of or Dutch books, but I'm learning Dutch. One of my best friends, Arana, who if you've been on this channel for a while, you would have met multiple times. She is from the Netherlands originally, and she speaks Dutch. It's her first language. And so I've been learning Dutch for the longest time. And so I'm slowly starting to read Dutch books. And so I have a few of those on my TBR as well. The next book I definitely want to get into is Satisfaction Guarantee. This is a sapphic romance. This is a story about Cade and Selena and kind of what they get into in their daily lives. It's kind of about these two running this business together and kind of seeing how things end up falling out because the business is sort of starting to turn downhill. So they definitely need to band together and figure out how to get this business back and running. It is, the writing is a little small, but it's not too bad. And it's only like 311 pages. So it's definitely one I think would be an easy read and something I'm interested into getting into. The next book on this hopeful TBR is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This book I have heard so much about. It's a Peter Pan retelling, but with Hook and Peter's daughter, Wendy. And so Hook is known as James. I'm not sure if that's Hook's real name. Is Hook's real name James? I don't know. As Wendy's been cloistered away most of her life by her cold, wealthy father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turns into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark and brooding James. This definitely seems like a more dark romance. I love darker romances. One of the books I'm hoping to get into when I have a little bit more money to spend on it is Haunting Adeline. I know that is a huge one on Book Talk right now, so I'm sure you're not surprised to hear about that if you do follow Book Talk. But Hooked seems like a little bit of a easier to digest book than Haunting Adeline might be. And this is only about 300 pages as well. Yeah, 319. So this should also be a pretty easy read. It's by Bloom, which I'm learning that Bloom might be my favorite like book publisher. Only two, Hooked and Fine Print, are from Bloom, but I'm kind of shocked that the Salacious Player Club isn't through Bloom. Anyway, Bloom is definitely one of my favorite publishers. I'm slowly learning, and I definitely am looking to look more into their books. I definitely should look on their website and see what else they kind of have going around. I just want to check real quick if I have anything coming up for Libby that I might want to read. I haven't read a thriller in a really long time, and Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I read the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, which I loved so much, and this is her next book, Five Survive. It is an adult, and I've heard kind of mixed things about it, but I'm excited to give it a try, so that might be one I pick up. I haven't read a nonfiction in a little bit as well, and Know My Name by Chanel Miller I've heard nothing but amazing things about. She's the woman from the Brock Turner case. She finally revealed her name in this memoir. I've heard it is extremely harrowing and also a great read, so it's definitely one I want to look into possibly reading in the future. So I think that's enough for right now for my TBR for July/August. I'm hoping I get to a few of these. I've been feeling more and more into reading recently, so I'm hoping I continue in that trajectory and things continue to look up. But thanks to anyone who came and watched. I hope you enjoyed. I am really enjoying making booktube videos, so I hope you stick around, and I hope to continue making them. But thanks, guys, for hanging out, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.